Welcome back, Roomies. You are listening to Kdrama in Room 343. I am your host, Choi, aka Christina, and today we are going to talk about episode 2 of Penthouse Season 1. If you are joining for the first time, hello. This is a podcast where I talk about Korean dramas that I'm watching in detail, which I'm trying to fix. I basically summarize the episode while adding a little bit of commentary and also do my makeup while I talk about it. You can watch me do my makeup on my YouTube channel. Just search Kdrama in Room 343 on YouTube and subscribe to my channel at Yoonhee Choi so that you don't miss a future episode. And for those of you who are joining from our podcast platforms, welcome back to Room 343. Thrilled to have you here. Make sure to subscribe to wherever you are listening from so that you don't miss another episode. Let's talk about episode 2. We have a lot to talk about. As always, I will be putting all the products that I've used in this video in the description box below. So if you are curious, then you can check the box there. So we left off with Yoonhee kind of threatening Seojin, like with the trophy, like, I will beat you. And we see that again, like Yoonhee threatens Seojin saying like, you'll never beat me, you're a fake winner, you thief. Eunbyul, she was the one that was getting a lesson, and she is so shocked. I mean, obviously, like, you're in the middle of a lesson, and then suddenly this woman comes and threatens your mom with the trophy. I'd be scared too. So she, like, volunteers, or she, like, asks Seojin if she, she's like, I'll go get security. So Seojin is like, stop fooling around in front of the kids, and Yoonhee's like, you think I'm fooling around? And she reveals the scar that she has that Seojin gave her when she freaking slashed her. Seojin is like, you want me to take Rona? Like, you're acting out because I won't take Rona, but I already have enough students. Yoonhee is like, why would I trust you to take care of my kid? Like, you're the last teacher that I want for my kid. And then Seojin is like, well, you better leave before I call the police. Yoonhee gets angry. She like slams the trophy on the piano and she's like, I'll be back for this trophy. And then she grabs Rona and they leave. Eunbyul is like, Mom, who is that lady? Like, why did she throw that? Like, why? What happened? What's going on? And Seojin is like, oh, don't worry about it. She is just jealous and she's just angry because I told her that I couldn't take in her daughters. Like, don't worry about it. And Eunbyul is like, is that girl trying to get into Chung High School? And Seojin kind of just like yelled. She like shrieks at Eunbyul. She's like, I said, don't worry about it. She just like shrieks at her own daughter. And Eunbyul is kind of like surprised, but and kind of intimidated and very afraid. And even throughout the rest of the lesson, like you can see how pressured Eunbyul is by Seojin, and Seojin like continues to like remind her that she needs to practice and be the best. Seojin tells her like, your grandfather is the director of the school, so you have a reputation to uphold, so you need to do better. Rona, on the other hand, is all happy that her mom is finally supporting her dream, and she promises that she'll be the best and that she'll even get into the admission as first place vocalist. Like, Mom, I have the skills. I have what it takes. I won't give up. Thank you so much for supporting me. And then she kind of asks like Yoonhee like what happened, like what their relationship is, what her and Seojin, why there's so much like tension and beef. And Yoonhee's like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, you just focus on, getting into the school and I'll support you. I'll find the best teacher. I'll like make sure that you get in. Don't worry about it. And remember, Yoonhee had like freaking flying kicked the principal at Rona's school. And so Rona's like, Mom, like, what's gonna happen to me? Like the school violence committee, like the mom freaking committed violence in the school violence committee. Yoonhee is like, oh, don't worry about it. Mommy will take care of it. She goes to the school and the principal is he has a neck brace and he's wearing a mask and he's like sitting in his chair, and Yoonhee comes to his office asking for forgiveness, and she's like, I'm so sorry, like I don't know what came over me. Jenny's mom is there and she's like, you vile woman, like you're like so violent, like why are you here, like how shameless can you be? Yoonhee apologizes to the principal saying like, I was out of my mind and I hope that you can forgive me and that she'll pay for all medical expenses and everything. So she like begs the principal not to expel Rona. The principal is like, you can't settle this with just an apology. And he takes off his mask and his front two teeth are missing. Oh, so sad, but so funny. How hard did she kick him? Like, she needs to go to a jail. Like, they need to settle this in court. Like, this is physical assault, you know? When he took off his mask, like, both moms are like, oh no. It's so funny. The principal is like, I will never let this slide. And Yoonhee continues to apologize, saying like, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Like, please, if there's anything I can do, I promise I'll like, you know, I'll pay for the damage, like for, you know, all the medical expenses. I'm so sorry. And then Jenny's mom is like, you see what you've done? Like, there's no way you can correct this. And Yoonhee is like, you know, I wasn't apologizing to Jenny, like, or Jenny's mom. Like, I wasn't apologizing to you, nor will I apologize for, you know, to Jenny, because clearly Jenny was faking it. I already know. I'm here to apologize to the principal. And then she walks out. Then the principal is like, oh, do you think, like, to Jenny's mom, do you think she figured it out that Jenny was faking? And then Jenny's mom is like, watch your mouth. Like, are you able to pay back the money that I gave you? If not, then you better watch yourself, you know? Shh. Yoonhee leaves, and she's like, outside the building, and she kind of just like scolds herself. She's like, why did I do that? Like, why did I flying kick the principal? And then she looks up and she actually sees a billboard. On the billboard, the actress from JYG Entertainment, the one who had an affair with the congressman, you know, from episode 1. And she gets a great idea. She's gonna blackmail him. So, like, again, lawless land here. What she does is she sneaks into the house and installs a hidden camera. Lawless land, y'all. Lawless land. There's, like, what in the world? Like, anyways, after she, like, installs the camera, she hears somebody come in and she sneaks out. And it's the congressman, and he's on the phone. He's like talking to his mistress, like, oh, where are you? I'm already here. Then Yoonhee is like, you know, you're getting what you deserved. Like, outside, she like mutters to herself. She's like, you know, he's getting what he deserves. And she's like, I'll do whatever it takes for my daughter. Hashtag lawless land. Yoonhee is then calling like different vocal teachers and asking if they have a spot open for Rona. And one of the teachers says that like, oh yeah, she's available for another student. But when she says, oh yeah, it's for Rona, Perona, the teacher like quickly changes their mind and says that there's no spot open. So it looks like Rona is blacklisted, and it's because Seojin had like sent out a notice to all the vocal teachers, saying like, you know, telling them not to accept that student. And Yoonhee was actually like calling the teacher at the convenience store, and in the same convenience store we see Anna, and she is actually working there. She does a part-time job there. She gets off and then she goes to the animal hospital because her dog is sick. Her dog's name is Sugar, Sartang, Sugar. She is so cute. But her dog is sick, and the doctor, like the vet, he's like scamming her low key because she tells him like that, you know, money is not an object. Like she can provide the money, just like please save Sugar, because apparently Sugar has to go through like an operation. And then the vet is like, okay, well, didn't you say like, so she gave him $200, 200 manons. 200 manons, so that's like $2,000 actually. So she gave him $2,000 in cash, and the doctor is like, where did you get this money? And then he's like, oh, I think you're mistaken. Like the operation itself, the procedure is $2,000, but the full like cost, including like, recovery and like the medication and everything else, it's actually $5,000. And he's like, oh, you have to bring it in cash. He's like scamming because he knows, he was like, oh, you said you're an orphan, right? So he's like full-time just like scamming her, but I think Anna is like too innocent, so she like agrees. She's like, yes, whatever, please just save my dog, like I'll try to find the money. So Anna's real name is actually Min Sora, and yeah, she's an orphan. So her shoes are all tattered and she's tutoring the twins, but the twins, like, they don't pay attention. Seokyoung is like texting, she's like on her phone, and Anna is like, hey, can you pay attention, like put that away, it's tutoring time. But Seokyoung just like ignores her. Then Anna goes over to Seokyoung's bookshelf to see like her previous math workbooks, and it's like blank, it's like very clean. And so Anna is like confused because Seokyoung is supposed to be number 2 at the school, and so she's like, how are you number 2 if your workbooks are all clean? Well, we know why, because she cheats. The twins, they're cheaters. And Seokyoung gets like super angry. She's like, what are you doing? Like, if you're here to earn money, just stay put and do nothing just like the rest of the teachers. Stop wasting my time. Like, I don't need to be tutored. Like, we don't need to be tutored. Don't touch my stuff and stuff like that. And then Seokyoung gets a phone call from Eunbyul, and she like answers the phone and walks out during the lesson. So I thought like Seokyoung and Eunbyul, they were not close, but I guess they're like frenemies. Like, Eunbyul maybe just secretly hates Seokyoung. I don't know. So Seokyoung is out in the hallway and she's like talking on the phone. Suryun was getting ready for dinner, and she sees that Seokyoung was not participating in the lesson, in the tutoring session. So she walks over to her and is like, stop being so rude to your teacher. Like, you need to go back into your studies and listen to the teacher and learn. But then Seokyoung is all rude and she's like, I'll do as I see fit. And she just like pushes Suryun to the side and she walks away. Seokhoon comes out and Suryun is like, what's wrong with Seokyoung? Like, why is she behaving this way? And Seokhoon is like, you should think about it. Like, you should think about why she's acting that way. Okay, like, if she knew, why would she ask you, buddy? Like, she asked you because she didn't know why she was acting like that. But he just, like, answers her very vaguely and then just walks away. So the twins are, like, so angsty. The next scene is at the Hera Palace gym. Seojin is, like, working out. And then Dantae also comes. So I guess it's, like, their rendezvous point or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, Dantae comes to the gym and he's like, did you not see my text? I thought we agreed to meet at the hotel, the Shine Hotel or whatever. And Seojin is like, you and I are, like, we have a lot to lose. We can't be seen where there's a lot of, like, eyes. And so Dantae is like, oh, I like the way you think. And so he, like, she's doing the rowing machine and then he gets on the machine next to her. And then, like, he gets up and he drops something and he's like, oh, I think you dropped this. So he dropped it, but then he, like, hands it to her because there's, like, a security camera and they're trying to, like, hide the fact that I don't know. And he's like, oh, you dropped this, and it's actually a key. It looks actually really pretty and fancy. And apparently it's a key that lets you go anywhere in the Hera Palace building. It's like a master key. And, like, okay, I was very confused when he handed this key because it looks like the key from Harry Potter. I forget which book, but like in the scene where, like, there's a bunch of flying keys everywhere and they have to, like, grab one. Was it the first one? Whatever. It looks like those keys, like those big bulky keys. And are the buildings in Hera Palace, like, the locks, are the locks huge? Like the keyholes? because that's a really thick key. So I was like very confused, like, but it turns out that that key, it's actually like a keypad, like a not a keypad, but like a key card. So you just kind of like take the key, like if this is the key, you like put it on the pad like this, and then it opens. So yeah, mystery solved. But I was very confused when I saw that. I was like, what kind of keyholes do they have in this building? So then Seojin takes the key and Dantae leaves. Seojin continues to work out. Dantae gets home and he actually sees Anna's tattered shoes and he gets like really disgusted. He brings out those tongues, those like little tools where you like grab it, like it's a very long tool and you grab the little tip and it like picks up like a claw machine, like a, you know what I'm talking about? Like he gets one of those things and so he gets one of those grabby tools and then he grabs Anna's shoes and like he's so angry and just like so mad. He tells the maid like, whose shoes are these? Like, throw them out immediately. They are disgusting. He's like, they're dirtying up the entrance. Throw them away immediately. Then the maid is like, oh, those are the kids' tutor's shoes. Then Suryeon, Anna, and the twins, they come out and Anna is looking super embarrassed. She quickly like gets the shoes and then Suryeon is like, oh, this is the kid's tutor. And Dantae like she still looks furious. He's like, okay, well, please do your best to take care of our kids. But as soon as like Anna like walks past him and she's like kind of behind him putting on her shoes, he starts like yelling. He's like throwing a tantrum, basically saying like, you know, I hate having strangers in the house. Like, I don't know where they've been. I don't know what they've touched. I don't know what kind of germs they carry. Like, please literally, he said, to throw away everything she has touched, including the cups. And he's like, clean the bathroom to the maid. The twins, they kind of like smile at, in a like slight, like evil, all evil like at Anna. And Anna is looking super embarrassed and shocked. Because like, who? Like, say it at least when she's gone. She's still there, Dantae. I think he did it on purpose, honestly. So Anna leaves and Suryeon kind of chases after her. She catches up and she apologizes on behalf of Dantae. She's like, my husband has like OCD. I'm so sorry about that. She's like just being super nice. And she's like, if you need anything, don't hesitate and let me know. She's like being super nice. So Anna feels like, you know, bad for, she doesn't feel, but she like, is kind of consoled a little bit. Dantae gets a phone call from the principal of the middle school and he gets angry. It's about Seokyeong and he's like really pissed. He calls the twins into the study and he like locks the door. The twins, they kind of sense that something is wrong and so Seokyeong like holds Seokhoon's hand and I don't know, this scene kind of like, I mean, I guess the siblings are really close. Me and my brother, like, we're not that close. Not as close as Seokyeong and Seokhoon. But, I mean, anyways, they're, like, kind of being each other's support, I guess. Dantae is furious because Seokyeong apparently turned in an exam without filling anything out. So, like, her Scantron was completely empty. Like, her test was completely blank. So, of course, she was going to get a 0, and the principal had, like, called Dantae. And Dantae speaks formally to the kids, and I think he does this when he's like super mad at them. He's like, I just got a call from the principal today. You apparently turned in a blank Scantron. Like, what's going on? Is this true? Is what I heard true? And Seokhoon is surprised because I guess this exam, like, she didn't cheat or anything. But Seokyeong said that she actually did it on purpose. Like, she's like, yeah, it's true. I turned in a blank exam. And Seokhoon is like surprised and he apologizes and instead of Seokyeong, he's like trying to defend her. Seokyeong says that it's because she doesn't want to go to Chunga Arts High School for classical singing. She says like she doesn't want to be a classical singer. Like she's like, that's your dream. Like it's not my dream. I don't want to do it. Like you've never asked what I wanted. You're like forcing it on me. And Dantae says like, it's my dream and it's my plan to have a classical singer, a famous classical singer in the family because it'll bring us like, I don't know, like honor or something. Like, I don't know why that would bring. Anyways, he says like it's his dream and it's his plan for Seokyoung to be a classical singer. But, you know, Seokyoung says that she feels suffocated with everything, that's not what she wants to do. So then Dantae is like, okay, so what do you want to do? What is it that you want to do? And Seokyoung answers that she wants to study abroad with Seokhoon. Like the twins, they want to get out and they just want to study abroad. Dantae is like, oh, it seems like we haven't been spending much time together. And he like pulls her to the side, and then the twins, like they freak out, like I guess because he's like trying to hit them, basically, like saying like, oh, you know, you haven't been disciplined in a while, right? Like you forgot. So then he like he apparently has like a secret room, like it's like he presses a button or something, or like a bookshelf, and then the bookshelf like moves to the side to reveal like a soundproof room, freaking with steel doors. You know, that's like the room where he hits his children, where he like beats them up. So then he tries to drag her into that room, and she's like crying and saying, like, apologizing, and then Seokhoon also apologizes. Seokhoon is like stepping in front of her between them, like trying to defend Seokyoung, and Dantae is like, this doesn't concern you, but Seokhoon is like, you said you wouldn't hit anymore. I'll get hit instead. And so Dantae is like being all psycho, is like, oh, you know, like that's also a beautiful thing, like a brother, you know, defending his little sister. Like, how beautiful. Fine, as you wish. I'll hit you instead. So he drags Seokhoon actually just like goes in, and Seokyoung is like begging Dantae not to hit and saying like she's apologizing, and she's like, I'm so sorry, like please don't hit him, but he locks the door behind him, and it's like steel door, and she can't like break open or anything like that. So she's just like banging on the door, like begging him, like, please dad, like don't hit Seokhoon, please. And yeah, it's soundproof door and it's like steel, so we don't see like him actually getting hit though, like thank goodness. And then Suryun comes home and she's like oblivious to the whole thing. I don't even think she knows about the room, because when Seokhoon is wearing his cardigan when he comes out, and Seokyoung is kind of like helping him walk, Suryun is all confused and she's like surprised. She's like, Seokhoon, are you sick? Like, what happened? And the twins then kind of just say like, you're never here when we need you. Like, do you do it on purpose? Like, do you conveniently leave for him, you know, for that situation? And she's like confused. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you guys talking about? And then they just like walk past her and go into their room. She like asks the maid like if she knows anything, and the maid is like, nope, I don't know anything. But the maid looks like suspicious too. Like she looks suspicious. So I was like wondering like if Suryun is like their stepmother, or if she like just remarried, like if Dantae and Suryun just got married. So I was just wondering, because how can you be oblivious to that? Like, your son is beaten and you don't know that? Anyways, and then Dantae comes out and she asks Dantae, like, what happened, like, what's wrong with the twins? And Dantae just says, like, oh, like, I scolded them because they were fighting. Yeah, and so Suryun is like, what do you mean? Like, why are they fighting? And Dantae is like, yeah, that's why I scolded them. I don't know, like, they were just fighting, and, you know, like, they shouldn't fight, so I, like, just scolded them. Don't worry about it. And she just believes him. Girl. Then she walks over to Dantae's study, and she doesn't notice anything except for like a broken photo album, and it's a picture of the twins, and it's like shattered because I think Seokyoung had knocked it over when she was like banging on the door. So Seokyoung is treating Seokhoon, and I think he got like whipped, so his back was like all like red, and it had like stripes of like bloody like stripes. And so she's like crying and she's like treating him, and she like apologizes for like, you know, the fact that he got hurt because of her. And then Seokyoung is like, you're the only one that's there for me. And then the twins, they have like this moment, they're like, Seokhoon is like, I'll protect you no matter what, like we're together, like you have like we have each other. It's like a very strong sibling relationship, which I feel like at least they have that because like we have a mom that's like completely clueless and then a very abusive dad. Like, thank goodness you're a sibling, you know, you're tight with each other. Goodness gracious. So Anna is at her apartment, she's feeding the dog, and she like is talking to the dog saying like, you're my only friend, and she's just basically like describing her day to the dog. And you know, and then she like has this weird dream, and it's like an animated dream. I don't know, this scene was really weird. Like all of a sudden, like she made like this paper mache, I don't know what those are called. She was doing arts and crafts basically, and then like those art, like it was a ballerina, and then it started dancing, and then it like changed to like an animation, and it was Anna's dream. But in the dream, like there's a little girl, and she's like being reunited with like I think her mom. Yeah, so that was the dream. So I think Anna's dreaming about her mom, I guess. Eunbyeol comes home at 11 p.m. and Seojin was waiting for her. Seojin is like, get ready for your Italian lesson. At 11 p.m. Oh my goodness, like tiger mom. But Eunbyeol, she like tries to, you know, tell Seojin that it's like really late, but Seojin won't have it. She's like, what did I say? Like you need to be able to beat everyone at the competition, and you need to get your grades up and whatever. She agrees, of course. Then Dr. Ha is also at home, and he's like, you know, you're like pressuring her too much. And Seojin is like, you're the one who always tell Eunbyeol to beat Seokhyung. And Dr. Ha is like, well, that's because, you know, I can't stand Dantae. Like, I want such a jerk. And like, he'll show off, and like, you know, he doesn't even have that much money, but like he keeps like showing off and thinks he's better than us, and he's just like bad mouthing him. And Seojin is kind of like ticked off, and she's like, well, if you hate him so much, why do you keep copying him? Like you're wearing you're wearing the same clothes, like the same shirt that he was wearing, you're drinking the same wine that he's drinking, and you like live in the same building as him. Like why are you copying him if you hate him so much? And she just like storms out. Meanwhile, Yoonhee is blackmailing the congressman. Like they meet up at a cafe, and she shows him the video that she got. It's like him just lollygagging around with that actress. She's like threatening to send it to all the media and the news station, and he like gets really angry. He's like, you know, with one phone call, I can end your life. He says that. She like hovers her finger on the send button, and she's like, well, I can end your career right now with just one touch. And he like agrees to pay her to, you know, to not send the video. So she succeeds in blackmailing. Lawless land. She takes the money and she goes straight to the principal, and she gives him, so the money was in like this energy drink box, so she gives him the box, and he like looks at the box and says like, you know, you think you can settle this with a box of energy drinks? And Yoonhee's like, oh, just open it. So he opens and he finds like cash, like filled. That box is filled with cash. And Yoonhee is like, you've received a lot of these, so you should know how much is in that box. The principal is like, what are you talking about? I don't receive these. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then Yoonhee is like, well, I know you receive a lot of these from Jenny's mom and other moms, but you know, like if anybody asks me, I'm not gonna say a word. Like, I don't know. Like, I have eyes, but I don't have eyes. I won't tell a soul if people ask. And she's like, I only have one condition. And she's like, please let Rona just graduate. And the principal agrees. The twins and Dantae and Eunbyeol, they're at a JK Holding scholarship ceremony. Dantae is the director, so he's handing out the certificates and I guess like scholarships. The twins get a scholarship, but I mean, do they even need it? They're like filthy rich. But anyways, yeah, the twins are there. Eunbyeol is there. So after the ceremony, the principal of the school tells Dantae that Seokhyung's blink exam has been taken care of, and the teacher has agreed to let that pass and it won't affect her grades at all. And Dantae is like, oh, thank you so much. Can you, we should have a meal with that teacher, all three of us. And then the next scene is like some sketchy activity going on. Like a bunch of gangs, they just like get out of a van, they go into this like building and they start like beating people up and ransacking the whole place. And the people that they're beating up, they're like the elderly, like seniors. They just like beat them and trash the place. And Dantae is behind this. He's like in the car watching. He then calls Dr. Ha and says that phase 1 of their plan is complete and it's time for him to continue to the next step. And so what Dr. Ha does, like during his round, he visits a VIP room and he like talks to the CEO of a press company, like a media entertainment company or something like that. He's like the CEO, right? And so he's like saying, is your surgery okay? Like everything, like are you feeling okay? Like everything looks good. Your surgery went well. And then he tells him, like, I heard an interesting situation that's going on, and some of the residents are refusing to cooperate and move out, which is hampering the redevelopment of this real estate area. And then apparently that was phase 2. The news then like gets broadcasted and it's like, all over the internet and everything, and they are clear to move to step 3. And step 3 is Lawyer Lee. Lawyer Lee gets the information that the son of that building is currently in jail, and they just kind of like plan some deal out, I guess, like kind of bribing the owner to just sell the building. I don't know, like I honestly was not paying attention to this part, so I have no idea, but the gist is like they planned something sketchy to basically get ownership of that building. Then Dantae like gives the two, Dr. Ha and Lawyer Lee, a case filled with gold bars. And he's like, today's payment or the payment for this project isn't gold because nothing is as honest as gold. And the two guys, they're like ecstatic. They look at the gold and they just smile. And then Dantae is like, we should wrap up this project as soon as we can because the next one it's gonna be even more rewarding. And the three, they like do like this dramatic slow exit. Jenny's mom then meets with Yoonhee, and Jenny's mom is expecting an apology still, and Yoonhee is like, I'm not gonna apologize. So let's just take Jenny to the hospital and get a diagnosis. And then we can see like if Rona was actually at fault or not. So then she like pressures Jenny's mom, and Jenny's mom is kind of like hesitant because obviously Jenny was lying. There's nothing to diagnose. So then Yoonhee just like leaves knowing that like Jenny's mom can't do anything. Rona is practicing in front of the school at the schoolyard, and Yoonhee is like, she's like watching from behind and she's like smiling. She's like very determined to find her a teacher. And then the private teacher, the male teacher that Jenny was being taught by, like he comes next to her and he like compliments Rona, like saying Rona has such a beautiful voice. She is definitely gonna get into Chung. Like she has a lot of potential. And then he's like, have you found a teacher yet? Like with a little bit of guidance, she can do really, really well. Like she can definitely beat Jenny. Like she has that. She has talent. And Yoonhee is like, no, we haven't found her a teacher yet because I think she got blacklisted, or that rumor about her being involved in Jenny's like scandal. I think because of that, like no one is taking her in. And the teacher is like, he kind of apologizes too, like, yeah, I know it wasn't Rona, like I know Rona didn't do it, but I apologize because I couldn't say anything. Like at the time, like I was working for Jenny's mom, and if I got involved, like I would have been, like cut. And Yoonhee's like, no, I understand. Like, yeah, it's okay, like that you didn't get involved. Like, I accept your apology. The teacher then asks if he can teach Rona. And Yoonhee is like ecstatic. She's like, you would do that for me? Like you would do that for us? And he's like, of course, she has so much potential. I would love to guide her and get her ready for Chonga Arts admission test. So then Rona is being taught by the teacher, and he actually lets her know that the entrance exam, or like the admissions, the vocal test, it was changed, so it's one Italian song and one song in German. But Rona didn't practice the German song because she thought it was just two Italian songs. And he was like saying, oh, it's okay, you're smart, like we can prepare. If we prepare now, you'll be ready for the admissions, for the test. So then they're like practicing the song. Eunbyul is also having her lesson and Seojin is teaching her. She gets very frustrated though. She kind of, every time Eunbyul sings, like she kind of compares her to Rona. And she gets very frustrated saying like, that's not it. Like, oh, she was singing, what was it? Queen of the Night? I don't even know. I can't sing. But you know that that song. So they're singing that, but in a much higher octave, of course. Like I can't do classical singing. Eunbyul was kind of doing the staccato, very legato and like connected. And Seojin was like, why are you singing it connected? Like, stop. Like, don't do that. And, like, just scolding her, telling her that she's flat. Like, stop. You need to pay attention and practice. And then she gets a text from Dantae. It's about their next rendezvous. He texts her, Hera, 35th floor, garden. And then she, like, smiles. Like, okay, you are in the same room as your daughter. Like, shouldn't you feel at least some kind of guilt? You know, like, but she blushes like a little girl, like freaking. Lawyer Lee comes home and he like immediately takes his pants off, so he's like in his underwear, and his wife like freaks out saying like, the tutor is here, the kid's math tutor is here, like put your pants on. But he like doesn't, and he apparently like is a papa's boy as well. He's like spoiled, right? He's a mama's boy, he's a papa's boy. He can't do anything that without his parents. And so his dad is actually like the CEO of a lawyer firm, and he just basically just gets handed cases. And there's nothing that he actually does on his own. He just is like very chill, and he's like, you know, like that law firm is mine anyways. But then the wife is like, no, I've seen your sister. Like, your sister is interested. Like, your sister might take it from you. So you need to do something. Like, you need to be proactive and actually do the work. But he's being a big baby. He's like, are you like bad-mouthing my sister? My sister? And then he just like kind of sulks. Like, he's a freaking baby. He's a man-child. And the wife is like trying to, like, she rolls her eyes, but she doesn't want to make him mad or anything. Okay, I'm putting on this red lipstick and be right back. The wife is trying to like console him, and like, you know, she's trying to make up, and he like wants a kiss, and so she reluctantly is like trying to kiss him, but Anna comes out and they like break apart, and then Anna's like, I'll be leaving now. She's like so awkward. I mean, I'd be awkward too. And Lawyer Lee is like, I'm Yoonhyuk's dad, and Anna's like, oh, okay. So Anna leaves, and then she's like headed to the next class, which are at the twins. And then she gets a text from Seokyoung asking her to delay the tutoring session for 30 minutes. Anna's like, okay, fine. So she waits in the Hair Palace building, and while she's she's gonna eat her dinner. She's like sitting on a bench in front of like huge windows with a gorgeous view. And then suddenly she hears the elevator, and she hears somebody come to that floor. Anna quickly hides. I don't know why she like hid. Like, I don't know. I feel like she could have just stayed there and you know, just let whoever that person is, like if they ask like what she's doing there, just let her know that she's there in between like whatever, you know, like she didn't have to hide. But she hides, and It's actually Seojin, and she is like she like is very cautious, and she goes to like this door, and she uses the key that Dantae, the master key that Dantae had given her, to open and go inside the garden. And it's like beautifully decorated. It's a beautiful garden, and Dantae is actually already there. Anna sees this and sees the two of them meet. And right when they meet, they're just like full on having a makeout session. And Anna sees that as well. She's like super shocked because, I mean, she works for both families and she knows that they're having an affair. So Anna tries to go get closer and to see like exactly what's going on. I mean, like, I feel like she's kind of brave. Like, I would have just like got the hell out of there. But she like tries to get closer. She climbs up like the stairs. She's like sneaking, trying to get a better view. And Dantae and Seojin, they're just like having fun. Like, Dantae like decorated like with candles and like provided like snacks or whatever food there, and he's like saying, you know, nobody knows about this place, it's very hidden, I'm the only one and now you, so you can use the space to come and rest whenever you want. He then asks her who is going to be first place to be admitted to Chunga Arts in the vocal major. He's like, it's between Eunbyul and Seokyeong, right? Seojin is like, that decision is made on the day of the exam. It's gonna be all fair and square. And Dantae is like, fair, you say? That's fresh. Because I guess he doesn't do things fairly. I mean, obviously. Then they sit down by the table and then they just like start making out. Anna is like seeing the whole thing, like, and she pulls out her phone and she starts to record. Seriously, like, mad props to her, because I would be like shocked. Like, what if, you know, these guys are like rich, they can literally get rid of me with one phone call. Like, I'd be too scared. Like, I'd be too scared to like even dare to blackmail or like anything. So props to her. So then Dantae, they're like kissing and like, you know, pulling their lips with their lips. Dantae then suddenly like rips off Seojin's pearl necklace, and then Seojin is like, what are you doing? She's like shocked, and Dantae is like, oh, I have this new necklace set. It's like an earring and necklace set, and he's like, I think these would be better suited for you. You don't want to keep wearing that, you know, cheap stuff that your stupid husband got you, right? Seojin takes the necklace, but she's like, what does this mean? Like, are you trying to own me? What is the meaning behind this gift? And Dantae like kind of just laughs like, of course not. I'm not trying to own you. Then Seojin is like, you know, I want a simple relationship. A relationship that can end when just one person wants to end it. And Dantae is like, oh, you and I speak the same language. And then they resume kissing. And of course, Anna is recording all of this. So the next scene is Anna at the twins' place, and she's tutoring Seokhoon and Seokyeong. But Seokyeong isn't there. I think she went to the bathroom or something. And then Anna's kind of like spaced out because she just witnessed something like traumatic, you know? Like, ugh, ain't nobody want to see that, but she recorded it. Anyways, yeah, she's kind of like spaced out, and she sees the snacks and she kind of like sneaks them into her bag. I mean, because she's been only eating like expired foods at the convenience store, so like she kind of sneaks some of the snacks into her bag. Seokyeong sees this and she like just scoffs. Seokyeong still tries to challenge Anna whenever Anna is trying to, you know, make her do like work on the problems, and Seokyeong doesn't want to, but Anna doesn't back down. Like, she's like, I don't know how you are managing to be top 2 of your class, because the way I see it, I don't think it's possible. I don't think you're smart enough. And then Seokyeong and Seokhoon, like, they get pissed. They're like pissed because they're probably guilty. Seokhoon like tells them that we should just end class early. And then Seokyeong plans something when Anna is like packing and she's like getting ready to ready to leave, Seokyeong puts her key ring into Anna's bag, like she slips it in when she's not looking. And then Seokhoon is like, what are you doing? And Seokyeong is like, that girl needs to be taught a lesson. So Anna leaves and she's like, you know, saying goodbye to Suryeon, and Suryeon is trying to like gift her a present. But then like Seokyeong comes rushing out saying like her key ring, the one that her dad had gifted her for Christmas or for her birthday or something. She's like, that key ring is missing. It's one of my favorites and it's missing. And so she blames Anna. And Anna's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you should check again. Like, I don't have it. It wasn't me. Like, why would I steal your stuff? Then Seokyeong just like grabs Anna's bag saying like, so you wouldn't mind if I check your bag. She like dumps the contents out all over the floor, and of course the keyring is there. So Seokyeong grabs the keyring and says like, you stole it. She's blaming Anna, and then Suryeon tries to like calm them down, like saying, okay, well, you found it. And she like quickly picks up Anna's belongings and puts it all in the bag, and she gives it to Anna saying like, I'm so sorry, I apologize for Seokyeong, please don't worry about it. But then Seokyeong is like yelling at Suryeon saying like, why are you taking her side? Like, she's the one who stole my stuff. And she's yelling at her mom. Dantae then comes out and says like, why are you talking to your mom that way? Seokyeong explains that Anna had stolen her keyring, but Anna denies. Anna is like, I did no such thing. I have no reason to steal her stuff. And then Dantae just kind of like looks her up and down, like, because she's like, you know, wearing like old and tattered clothes, and Dantae is just like looking her up and down and is like, oh, I think you do have reasons to steal. But then Dantae tells her to leave, and Anna just like leaves. And Anna, like, she looks super like angry, but she leaves. Suryeon tries to tell Dantae that, you know, they should just settle it and just not worry about it since they found the missing item. But Dantae is like, I will listen to what Seokyeong has to say first. So Anna tries to leave Hera Palace, but she is stopped by security. I realized I finished all my makeup, but I do have like a big old pimple here, so I'm going to cover that up. I'm gonna turn it into a beauty mark. But anyways, Anna tries to leave, but she's like stopped by security, saying like she can't leave because she stole something from the penthouse. And so Anna is like, no, that's a mistake. Like, you should check again. Please make sure to check again. And they're like, you need to stay here. Dantae and Seokyeong, they come down, and then Dantae is like, you need to apologize for stealing. Even though the item was found, you still need to apologize for stealing. And Anna is like, I will not apologize for something I didn't steal, like for something that I didn't even do. Like, I will not apologize. Then Dantae is like, oh, well, that's weird. Then how did Seokyeong's keyring just magically walk into your bag? Like, how did that happen? And then Anna's like, maybe Seokyeong put it there. That could be a possibility. And then Seokyeong gets like angry. She's like, I did no such thing. Like, why would I do that? Dantae kind of like holds her back, saying like, he's like furious now. He's like, you're blaming something that my daughter didn't do. You are tainting, like, what do you take my family for? You are tainting our reputation. Like, are you questioning me and our family's integrity? How dare you accuse my daughter of such a thing? I want you to apologize right now. First, for stealing, and second, for accusing my daughter of such horrendous things. And then when Anna like hesitates, he then tells the security to call the police. Anna then has a flashback. Apparently, she's been in this situation before. It looks like it's from abroad though. Like, she's explaining to the police, but the police, they're like escorting her into the police car. She's saying like she didn't do it, and she begs like one of the boys to tell the truth. I think like, so there's a boy in the shadow, so we don't see who the boy is, but he's like saying like, please, oppa, like, please tell them the truth. And the two adults are just like watching her be dragged off. Like, they have this like smile on their face. So yeah, she's been in like a similar situation before. Anna then realizes that she can't win this fight and then apologizes, or like agrees to apologize. Seokyeong is smiling and laughing, and she texts their group chat, the Hera the group chat is Little Hera Club, and it's basically the Hera Club kids. And so she's like texting everyone to come to the swimming pool. And she told them that the math tutor stole one of her stuff. So at the swimming pool, Minhyuk and Jenny are the ones, they come in and they're like kind of laughing, like, oh my gosh, like the tutor did what? Is she crazy? Seokyoung is sitting in the pool chair and Anna is in front of her standing and she apologizes. Minhyuk and Jenny, they're like kind of just laughing, and Seokyoung is being all like twisty and all bratty, and she's like, you know, teacher, I always thought that you had like this weird scent, like you smell terrible. And then she pushes Anna into the swimming pool. She falls into the swimming pool. The kids are laughing. And in the swimming pool, she has another flashback, our poor Anna. And apparently she's been in this situation before. She's flashing back to when so those two adults that were like watching her being escorted off by the police, those were her adoptive parents. And they push Anna into their swimming pool saying like, I can't believe I adopted a thief. And they're just like accusing her of stealing or something like that. And her adoptive mom is saying like, you know, you're going to be deported back to Korea. Flashback is over, and Minhyuk and Seokyoung and Jenny, they're like preventing her from coming out of the pool. Like Anna's like struggling, like she wants to come out, but Seokyoung basically like presses her down with her foot. And then she just like throws cash into the pool, like on her face, saying like, oh, you should use this money to get your clothes dry cleaned. And then the kids just leave. Anna comes out of the pool and she's like crying. Honestly, like, girl, like, just quit, you know? Just leave Hera Palace for good. Like, don't come back there. Don't go back there ever again. Like, just find another job, you know? Like, girl. So Dantae comes into the house to tell Suryeon that Anna is fired. And Suryeon goes to see Seokyoung and sees Seokyoung twirling around the key ring and enjoying herself. And Suryeon is like, why did you do it? Like, why did you blame Anna? You clearly slipped it in there. Why did you do such an evil thing? I didn't know my daughter was so bad. I'm very disappointed in you. Seokyoung then like pushes her aside and tells her like, you know, you should stay out of my life. And then Seokyoung is like, who are you? You have no authority over me. And Suryeon is like, how can you say that? I'm your mom. And Seokyoung then is like, you're not even my real mom. Then Suryeon is shocked. She's like, how did you, like, I took care of you guys when you were like just babies, you know, like when you were just newborns. Like, yes, I didn't give birth to you, but I've taken care of you for a very long time, and I've always treated you as my own. And then Suryeon, she's like crying. She's very surprised that Seokyoung found out about this, because apparently she didn't tell her. So ever since birth, like, Suryeon was taking care of them. And Seokyoung tells her that you were never there when I needed you the most. You didn't come to my elementary graduation. You didn't come to any of my concerts. And you missed my birthday last year because you were taking care of that child, your real daughter, at the hospital. Suryeon hugs her and she's crying. Both of them are crying at this point, and Suryeon is like hugging her, telling her that she's always treated Suryeon and she's always thought of the twins as her own biological children, and that she never once thought any different. Seokyoung pushes her aside and tells her like, don't ever act like you're my mom. It makes me want to puke. Seokhoon comes into the room, and Suryeon and Seokyoung like runs out, and Suryeon kind of like tries to flag down Seokhoon and ask him like, you know, how did you find out? Or like trying to explain things to Seokhoon, but Seokhoon just like pushes her away and goes after Seokyoung, and he tells Suryeon, stop interfering in our lives. Suryeon continues to cry, and then she tells Dantae, and they're like talking about like how the kids could have found out, and Dantae's like, I have no idea. And Dantae is kind of consoling her, saying like, you know, I can talk to the kids, don't worry about it. Like, they're probably going through like puberty, and that's probably why the emotions are so strong, and they'll understand you eventually. Suryeon also apologizes to Dantae and saying like, and kind of thanks him for taking care of her daughter, like her biological daughter Hain, for 16 years, even though there's not a lot of like medical progress. And Dantae is acting all sweet and like saying, don't worry about it. Like, and also don't ever say that there's no progress in front of Hae-in, even though she can't like talk or anything, she can still hear, and she's very sensitive. He's acting like he cares about Hae-in, but I don't know. I feel like he's a cheater, so I don't know how to take him seriously. Like any words that come out of his mouth, I'm just like, do you really mean that? So Seok-kyung then walks into the kitchen, and the maid is preparing dinner. And Seok-kyung gives the photo that apparently the maid had given her, and it's a picture of Suryeon being like, she's pregnant, but there's a man, and it's not Dantae, it's a different man. And so the maid had told the twins that Suryeon was not their biological mom. So is the maid their biological mom? That's so weird though. Like why would Dantae hide that though? Like that's weird. Yeah, the maid is suspicious. Like I don't know. The maid. Then Dantae goes to visit Hae-in at the hospital, and he is so sus. Like he smiles all like slyly, and then he like talks to his secretary saying like, wow, it's already been 16 years. And then he like just says to Hae-in, it's time to stop the act. You did well for 16 years. So I think he's like gonna pull the plug on her because she's still like plugged in and, like on life support. So I think he's like gonna pull the plug on her, right? Because he's saying like Hae-in was all part of his plan, but I don't know what his plan was. Did he order the maid to tell the twins? That could also be a possibility. Sus. Chunga Arts High School admission test day comes, and all the moms and their daughters are, going in, and the hair club moms are trying to like, support their children or whatever. And Rona is there, and Yoonhee is there as well. In the waiting room, though, Rona like looks at the notice or the announcement and sees something very shocking. Apparently, the song requirements are 2 Italian songs. Not 1 Italian and 1 German, 2 Italian songs. So the freaking teacher screwed them over. And Yoonhee and Rona, they're trying to get into contact with the teacher, but he's not answering the phone. And apparently it was set up by Seojin. So Seojin sees like Rona panicking, and then she's like to the secretary, did you take care of the teacher? And the secretary's like, yes, ma'am. And Rona is like crying. She's like inconsolable. She's like saying, I'm ruined. Like this test is ruined. I'm not gonna get into this school. Like everything is done, mom. I can't. And she's just like bawling. And Yoonhee is also crying, but trying to calm Rona down, because if you keep crying, your voice isn't gonna come out. You already know the other Italian song by heart. Like you sang it so many times. You can do it. And she's like encouraging Rona, but Rona's like, but I haven't practiced that one recently. And she's just like crying. And then Yoonhee like starts singing it. Like she like clears her throat and she starts singing the song, and Rona joins in, and they both kind of just like sing. Yoonhee's kind of helping her, guiding her along the song. And Eunbyul kind of like is walking by the hallway. So they're doing this in the hallway, and she like walks by and she hears them, and she's kind of like shocked, and then she just like walks away. So the test begins, and it's like a blind test. So the contestant stands behind like curtains, and then the judges are on the other side, and they like rate based on only their vocals. It's Rona's turn, and Seojin recognizes Rona's voice and confirms that it's her by looking at her shoes. And so Seojin purposely like gives her a bad rating, and she kind of like hints that to the other one of the other judge. So the other judge like gives her a bad rating. After the test, Rona runs out to Yoonhee and says that she did a good job. She feels very confident. She's like, I didn't mess up once. Like, I think it went really well. And Yoonhee, like, cheers and they hug. Eunbyul, on the other hand, runs out of the testing room crying. So Jenny's like, oh my gosh, I guess she messed up. And then Seokyoung is like, what does she have to worry about? Like, her grandfather is the director of the school. Like, she has nothing to worry about. And then Jenny's like, oh, you're right. The hair club moms are talking about how, you know, like, the twins and Eunbyeol, they basically have a free pass to the school, and the rest of them have to, like, fight. And then, like, Jenny's mom and Minhyuk's mom, they get into, like, this argument. And when Suryeon tries to, like, stop them, because it gets, like, pretty heated, when she tries to stop them, a girl, like, bumps into to Suryeon. And that girl is wearing the same tattered shoes as Anna. So it's actually Min Sora. So Min Sora is Anna's real name. Anna Lee is just a fake name that she, like, created or whatever. So she's actually Min Sora, and she's in middle school. Okay, she's like a middle schooler. I think we talked about this earlier with the dog, but she's in middle school. So she had lied to get the tutoring job. She is there at the school because she's also trying out to get into the Chung Arts High School. So she sings, and when she sings, like, the judges, they don't recognize her, but they, Seojin, they're kind of, like, astonished. Like, everyone is shocked at how great Anna is, or Min Sora is. Seojin even gives her all 10s. So that night, it's raining super hard. So Rona is constantly checking her phone for updates and for the results, if she got into the school or not. Anna is running into the Hair Palace building. She didn't have an umbrella. So she's, like, brushing off the rain, and she's, like, walking into the building because she has a tutoring session. And then she meets the Dantae family, the Jew family. Seokyoung, Seokhoon, Dantae, and Suryeon. They meet, and then she, like, says hello, but, you know, they pass. Then there's a text message that goes off because the announcements are posted. So Seokhoon sees that he got in, but I don't think he did vocal, so he's, like, first in his major, like, first to be admitted in his major or in his field. I don't know what it is. But Seokyoung was not the first in the vocal classical singing major. And Dantae gets the message that it's actually Min Sora. And Anna, so, like, they passed by each other, right? So Anna, or Min Sora, she was, like, behind them, and she also stops to look at the message. And she overhears that the first place was Min Sora. And then Seokyoung realizes that she actually saw Min Sora pass by her in the hallway during the admissions test. She recognizes that, like, how familiar she looked to Anna, but Anna was wearing a mask, or Min Sora was wearing a mask at the admissions test. So when she passed by Seokyoung and Suryeon, like, they didn't really notice that it was her. But then Seokyoung realizes this, and then she runs to Anna. Like, she was wearing a wig. So Anna was wearing, like, this wig that had, like, two-tone, like, purple hair in the bottom. And so, but Min Sora was not wearing a wig. So Seokyoung grabs and whips off the wig and reveal that it's her short hair. And then Suryeon runs over. She's like, what are you doing to the teacher? And Seokyoung is like, what teacher? I saw her at the admission test. And she grabs her bag and she pulls out her wallet, and Dantae takes the wallet, and the ID says that she is a minor, and it says Min Sora. Meanwhile, Rona is too scared to check her results, so she asks her mom to do it. Yoonhee looks, and she sees that Rona did not get in, but she is number 1 on the wait list. She tells Rona, and Rona just starts crying. She's like, why didn't I get in? I didn't mess up once. And she starts, like, running off in the rain. And Yoonhee tries to, like, follow her and chase her. But, like, she, like, zoomed across traffic. And Yoonhee's, like, freaking out because she could have gotten run over. And she tries to, like, chase after, but the cars keep coming. So the cars are, like, about to hit Yoonhee. Yoonhee tries to, like, flag Rona down, but Rona's, like, super fast. Back in Hair Palace, Dantae's family and Anna, they're at the penthouse, and they're trying to question Anna, or question Min Sora. Suryeon is like, are you really a middle schooler the same age as my daughter? Seokyoung is saying, like, she is a scammer, that she's a liar. Dantae is also angry for her to just scam them like that, and asks her why she did it. And Min Sora apologizes for lying, but she tells him that their contract is over, and I've already given up the money that I earned from tutoring back to you guys so I don't work for you. Okay, so like what the heck is up with this contract? Like you have to like, why does she agree? First of all, why did she agree to sign such a contract? Like you have to, if you get fired apparently, or if you quit, if you break the contract, you have to like give up all the money that you've earned. Like what the heck, girl? Then Dantae asks like how she came first in the classical singing like major, and Min-seora is like, well, with my talent, clearly. But then Seokyeong is like, you could have scammed your way in, like you could have lied, you could have taken information from us by like tutoring us. And Anna is like, what kind of information would I gain from you? And then Seokyeong like slaps Anna twice, and Sujeon tries to like stop her, but then Dantae like blocks Sujeon. And then he walks over to Min-seora, who fell because, you know, Seokyeong slapped her pretty hard. So she's on the floor, and then Dantae steps on her. Like he freaking presses her down with his foot, and he's wearing like dress shoes. I don't know, they wear suits all the time. So he's wearing like these fancy shoes, and he's just like stepping on her. He then tells her that she's always creeped him out, that, you know, you're a peasant basically. Like he says all these like bad things, but I forgot what he said in detail. He basically just called her like a scum. Seora gets up and she like is super angry. She then tells Dantae, I don't think you've been living a pretty honest life either, because she has that blackmail tape, right? And then Dantae's like, what did you say? And Seora kind of looks at Sujeon, and like she feels really bad for Sujeon, and she doesn't want to like, you know, hurt her. So then she like just says like, I have nothing else to say, and then she just like leaves. Seokyeong then tells Seokhoon that she can't end things like this, and then she starts to text the group and tells the little hair club kids, that Anna is the same age as them, and that she lied, and she is actually Min-seora who got first. So all the kids are like freaking out because, oh, side note, Jenny actually got into the school. But anyways, like the kids are like freaking out, like how could she do that? Blah blah blah. And then Seokyeong like plans to get back at her. Anna runs out and she's like leaving Hair Palace, and Sujeon catches up to her, tells her like, you know, like I know I want to hear you out. And Min-seora tells her that it's because she needed money and she doesn't have any. So like they found out also that she's an orphan. That's why like Dantae got even more mad, like you're a scum or whatever. Sujeon is trying to understand her, and Min-seora tells her that she did it because she needed money fast. She had no malicious intention whatsoever when tutoring. She really wanted to work hard and earn money. Sujeon then completely understands. She's like, yeah, I know you probably had your own reasons. She sees her shoes again, and then she's like, oh wait, can you just wait here? There's something I need to give you. So she goes up and she's trying to get the present, and it's like new shoes, and asks Min-seora to wait there in the lobby. And in the lobby is actually the fountain, the woman fountain, where, you know, like in the first scene of episode 1, like that's where Anna dies. That was kind of sad. But yeah, so she's just looking at the statue and waiting, but then she gets kidnapped. Somebody just like puts a bag over her, like a canvas bag over her, and then just like basically kidnaps her. And guess who it is? It's the Hera Club kids. They like brought her to like this dumpster area, and they start like trashing her, beating her up, bad-mouthing her, like cursing her out, and then like they pour like alcohol all over her, and then like they're trying to like take pictures, like they're recording, like Minhyuk is recording all of this. It's like it's just very intense bullying scene that we really don't need to go in detail, because it was just like a lot of the same things, you know. She's just getting beaten by these kids, and the kids are laughing. They even like lock her in a van, and then like you know, they zip tied her wrists and basically like is recording their deeds. Like back at Hera Palace, all the Hera Club moms found out that Min-seora was Anna, and that she was the one who placed first. And Seojin is shocked by this because she had no idea when she was rating Min-seora. And then like they're like stunned. They're like, what do we do? Like we got scammed. And then they're worried that like their children are going to get influenced by such a vile girl. Your kids are evil, okay? Like they are not innocent. They're like little devils, okay? Like, what you talking about? What you talking about? Yoonhee finally finds Rona, and both of them are crying. Yoonhee is trying to console Rona, but she continues to like bawl. They're both crying. She's like, "My life is over. Like, I just want to die." And Yoonhee's like, "But you're number one on the wait list. You know, we can just wait a little bit. Like, something could happen. Like, you might still be able to go. Like, don't lose hope." But Rona is like, "I hate you." She starts blaming Yoonhee, like, it's your fault because you're poor. You didn't get me the right teacher. That's why we got scammed because you're poor. Like, it's all your fault. And she just blames it on Yoonhee. And I know like she's saying this because she's like angry, but girl, have some decency. Yoonhee's like crying. She's trying to apologize to Rona as well. She's like, "I'm so sorry that I'm like, incompetent, that I can't provide all these things for you." And Rona's like, "I just want to die. Like, I have no like purpose in living anymore." I mean, girl, like, can't you just go to a different college? Like, anyways, that's the end of episode 2. I know, like, I talked a lot about this. I took so many things happened in this episode, and I tried to be brief, but I think like this is not brief. I'm sorry, I do apologize. I want to like not stop the drama and just take notes. Like, if I miss it, I miss it. But then I want to like provide the details and yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys prefer, please. Like, if you want me to just highlight the big points, or if you want me to explain it scene by scene like I have done for episode 1 and for episode 2. Anyways, overall, I think episode 2, like, there was so much drama and it kind of like tired me just watching it. Like, I was like wondering when it will end, but it was so long. Like, there was so much going on. And like by now we kind of have an idea of all the characters and their characteristics, and I hate them all. Like, I hate them all. I think the only character that I can actually stand is Suryeon. Like, she's like, the opposite of everybody, basically. Like, everybody in this drama is evil. They're like all antagonists. I thought that Yoonhee and Rona would be the protagonists in this story, because it seemed like that in the beginning. But I'm not so sure, because Yoonhee's like blackmailing and Rona's like being a brat, and I don't think they're the protagonists. I maybe Suryeon is the protagonist. I don't know, this drama, like, there's so many like vile people, and Dantae, like, okay, Dantae is the devil himself. Like, the D, so in my notes I put Dantae as D, but I'm gonna start calling him devil. So from now on, we will just refer to him as the devil, okay? Because he literally is the devil. Like, he's planning murder, like, already. Oh, I mean, he's like stepping on people. We don't know if he's gonna plan murder, but I feel like he's planning murder. Like, I feel like he's gonna plan to kill Hain, right? Anyways, yeah, we're just gonna refer to him as the devil from now on. I am curious to know how Anna will get, or Min-seora will get out of that situation with the van, and like these bullying scenes, and I really like, I don't like watching them, and I understand like why a lot of like high school dramas or dramas featuring high school students, a lot of them will have this bullying scene. It's like a major trope in Korean dramas involving like high school teens. And I understand that it's there because, it brings light into these, these things, because they do go on, like they do happen in real life. And as uncomfortable as it is to watch, I feel like it kind of makes a statement that, even if you might not see it in real life, it happens. So I do understand that it's the purpose of it being there, but it was just so uncomfortable to watch. And yeah, I just felt very grossed. And like, I hate all the kids. Like, I felt so bad for Min-seora. Like, I I'm curious to know like how she'll get out of that situation, if she will report to the police, but then if she does, will she get aid? Like, will she get support? Because it looks like, you know, it's that common story of like the rich and their connections versus the orphan girl who literally has nobody except for her dog. Even like the vet is scamming her. Anyways, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Do you have a favorite character? Who do you think the protagonists are? If there is one, because I can't. Maybe Suryeon, that's maybe. Definitely not Rona, because she is rude AF, and she's like a little. So that wraps up episode 2. I know it was a long one. Don't forget to subscribe to wherever you are listening from, and also if you are watching from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Yuri Choi, and give the video a thumbs up. You can find me on Instagram at Kdrama in Room343 and Twitter at Kdrama in Room343. You could also follow my personal Instagram account at YuriNays95 and on TikTok at Yuri_Christina. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.